Welcome to the Dentist Show. Let's jump right in.
Welcome to the Dentist Show.
The Dentist Show.
Ryan is back in all
I am.
glory.
Yeah, I had to ditch Chase for 1 week because I decided to take my wife away from the kids for a couple days. And when Chase wanted to record another podcast, I basically ghosted him. Didn't even answer.
Sounded my ears. Ghosting you.
Yeah, I did think I answered a day later, but never sent the text. So.
You were busy. You're traveling. You traveled all the way across the U.S.
coast to coast. Yeah,
California, and went to school stuff and kid stuff. So.
Yeah, it's a busy time of year for at least our Eastern Washington schools. We got graduation happening right now. We've got end of school plays, recitals, like everything's happening right now. So.
And because you're traveling so much, now you're sick. Now you're
yeah. If you can't tell, I'm sniffling a little bit. I even left the office a little early today because I felt like I could not breathe anymore. So, yeah, big slacker over here.
Was.
What was I saying? I was trying to brag in our morning meeting today that like I've only taken 1 day off being sick ever, and Chase is like, I've never taken it.
And there were days I definitely should have, and probably got other team members and patients sick because of it.
We did talk about switching out the wet masks, and I did at least 2 wet masks this day.
That's why the chairman office got black masks, because then you can work.
Because they're seeing the snot run through your mask.
He's got black ones. Don't worry about Dr. Davis. He's just drooling over there.
He's disgusting, and we got to get something to cover that base up.
It's so gross, and you're sick, and you're just like snotting, and it's just all over your face. The caps is wet. We're probably the only ones.
Maybe we're the only disgusting people, like
super spreaders of COVID.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So who knows? Maybe COVID finally caught up with me.
Maybe you got it finally. 5 years later.
Yeah. I've been evading that this whole time.
It's crazy. It's been 5 years too.
Actually, it really is wild because. Actually, you and I were just talking just a couple minutes ago how we bought Dr. Marshall's practice like right before COVID started. So January 2020. Honestly, all jokes aside, when you think about it, like we literally aerosolize whatever's in people's mouths, right? So
yeah, but what's funny because like common sense would say that we are like super spreaders. And I remember the first like. They've released a study like what jobs most at risk for getting COVID, and dentists were like 5. Like we're 5th.
Who's top 4?
I don't remember. We might have a number 1.
Was it gynecologists?
All these exes.
They're real closest.
Proctologist wasn't. I think it was something like that.
Proctologist and then gynecologist, right?
But I was like. How is that possible? And so then that's when a lot of our older hygienists quit. They didn't come back to the Anyways, so dentists got mad, the ADA got mad, and we actually went back and they redid it. And actually, dentists were one of the safest locations you could be. It's because we already practiced PPE and
and we have suction. We've got all of our universal precautions and stuff, right?
Yeah, we're not super spreaders.
Yeah. Take that.
We're safe.
Yeah.
On this episode,
we're getting canceled right now, Jason.
You're getting canceled by your Washingtonians.
Go ahead. Tell me what you got to say. On this episode, what are we doing?
All right. On this episode, there is a accounting firm that does, I don't know if they're only dentists, but probably.
Primarily dentists. Let's say that.
Primarily dentist. And you probably, if you're an active dentist right now, or a dental student, they have probably been in your school doing a lunch and learn.
Yeah, they were in my school for sure.
Huge accounting firm, and they're king of waters. A lot of people use them. We don't. Neither of us do.
I know. Yes. I'm considering doing it, but
no, you're not. And they don't fit in the budget.
Yeah. You know what's funny is, truth be told, if I made them fit in the budget, my budget would probably have more room for them to fit in it, right?
If you have it. But every year they release a number, like their numbers from their clients. And I always find it interesting. You have to subscribe or you have to do something on their website. It's not like free, but they have to email you so they can spam you pretty much.
Yeah. You got to give them your contact info.
Yeah. And it's called the competitive data you need to make analytics your specialty. Straight up nerd talk.
Yeah. That was accounting firm nerdy talk for sure.
It says, we hope it helps make playing the role of CFO a little easier as you continue to look for areas to elevate your business. Yes. Yeah.
Good luck, Chase.
That was old ChatGPT.
Yeah. Some intern wrote that on ChatGPT.
Yeah. But it's fun to kind of compare. 'Cause I guess that's pretty nerdy. It's not that fun, but it's I think it's important. Well, I also think like comparisons of each other. So sometimes it's not great to compare. But I love knowing where we are. Like I always think we're above average. And you look at these things and sometimes like, oh, okay, we're just kind of average. We're nothing special.
Just dentists, right?
Just dentists, just the average old dentist. And so they break it down. They do analyses of a single GP office, 2-doc GP office, 3-doc, and then 4+. So that number is skewed because we don't know how many dentists are there. They also do orthodontists, endodontists, and oral surgery. They actually don't do the radiology. So they don't get to play this game. I don't know what other specialties there are. No perio.
I was gonna say, did you say prosthodontists?
Oh, there's no pros. They don't make that anyway. They're still waxing at their own stuff. They don't care about that.
I know.
Anyways,
Nerds.
so pediatrics, ortho, endo, and pedo, I think, son. But we're just GPs. We're just the GPs, just the scale of the world. And we are going to talk about the numbers. Actually, I can share if you're on a YouTube channel. I think you can see this so you can, I don't know if this is even legal to share this, but so this is what their document looks like. They're a general dentist, one doctor office. And we assume if it's a one doctor, that's a owner ran operator. He is, or she is the dentist and he is the owner. So their average office did 1.4 million last year, which is an increase of approximately like 5%, 6% from 1.3 million in 2023. That's cool. Like they actually had a significant bump.
Yeah.
You don't always see that in this report. A lot of times they're pretty flat.
Which with inflation means it's not growing, right? It's negative
last year. So it's pretty small. But so they did. Their payroll is everyone's highest item, and their average payroll percent of their front office hygiene and assistants and payroll taxes is around 26%.
Yeah. Chase, is there any way for you to zoom in on your screen? Just make it a little bigger for anybody that is viewing it.
Yeah.
Yep. Keep going. There we go. That's the stuff right there. Thank you.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that payroll breaks down about 26%, which is kind of funny because that's typically what we run. We try to stay under 30%. When the offices get bigger, you'll see that payroll item go actually. No,
yeah. Which surprises both of us, right?
Yeah. It doesn't, It
actually used to surprise us.
Common sense would say you shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah. I think what we've noticed is like, as your amount of bodies in the office go up, the productivity per body goes down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Their dental supplies run at 6.7%, which we try to keep that at 4% or lower.
Yeah, I was going to say in the Northwest, we're blowing that out of the water pretty good.
Yeah, you guys are keeping an eye on that. Good.
Yeah.
Office supplies, we like to keep around 0.5%. Right now, ours run at 0.7%. And remember, this is a dentist-owned office, probably. And so a lot of that might be personal items for sure.
Right. Totally.
And then lab fees, what's interesting to me is they run at 5.75%, and all of our office is around 7%. This is fascinating.
Yeah. I wonder, like, what labs are they using? Are they in China? Or, yeah, that sounded very Trump of me to say it like that.
Good question. I don't know. But that's pretty typical too, 5 to 6%. And I've noticed all of my offices and our offices are like 6 to 7% typically.
Do you think that's because we're doing more all-on-X type stuff or bigger prosthodontic type procedures, or?
Yeah, and it could be how they're classifying. A lot of dentists incorrectly put their dental implant supplies in dental supplies. That's actually a lab supply. And so it could be, that's why their dental supplies are higher and their lab cost is lower.
Yeah, because we put them in our lab's costs.
Yeah, I do go in the lab fees, not dental supplies, but cool. And then they're like fixed expenses. They're pretty actually very similar to ours, in all of our size practices. So their total overhead is 62%. And when you add them all together, so their take home as a single doctor practice that owns a practice is 38%. So 541,000.
Yeah.
In our practices, the doctor pays approximately 22%. So in this case, it'd be like a 16% net profit if you were an associate ran practice. So that's not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. For a single doc practice, probably working 4 days a week and probably not too stressed, especially if they're mostly PPO or, mostly non-PPO.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is, so their average one practice is 1.4 million. When they go to 2 docs, it goes up to 2.4 million. And numbers only them to,
but it doesn't double.
It does double, because I doubt it's actually doubled the hours. The payroll goes up, and that's about it. Everything else kind of stays the same. So their take home does go up. I don't know. So probably drove down some rent or something. So it's 44% is their net profit. So 1 million they split. Because we assume, once again, this is the 2 doctors, more than likely partners.
Yeah.
In most cases in this one. So.
Yeah. And we talk about, we don't even have any true 2 doctor offices right now.
Well, I have one. We still have 12-month data on it.
Oh, that's what it is. That's right. The Cave Creek office. Yeah.
Cave Creek's that's a more or less, it is a 2 doctors day for 4 days a week.
Yeah.
So that's the closest we have. But we don't have 12-month numbers on it yet.
Yeah.
It's actually,
it's not a PPO office either. It's
it's fee for service.
Fee for service.
Delta Dental and everything else. And they blow the water, because we're doing 3.4 million, maybe 3.5 million this year, and all these.
That's awesome.
Super small.
Yeah,
salary's
that's
high,
awesome.
but everything else is low.
Yeah,
actually pretty similar to us actually, but just better numbers, better margins.
Yeah.
So 3 doctor practice. This would be closest to Spokane, with 3 full-time doctors. Once again, their salary their payroll went up, so this is very consistent.
What did we do in Spokane last year? I can't remember exactly. Was it 4 even, 4.1, or were we shooting for 4.2 and only hit 3.9? For some reason I can't remember.
Let's see. I have 2024. We did in Spokane. We did 4.1 million.
Okay, so
4.2.
Yeah, so we're actually pretty close to gross receipts on this, Ben.
Yeah, actually beat it. Sure.
Yeah.
That one. So that's very similar, and yeah, that's pretty awesome. And our payroll is actually very similar. I think the Spokane one is 30%. This one's a little less. Is that 24 or 6% or something? But let's see. We beat the dental supplies, office supplies. Our lab fees are higher. Let's see. But this is, so if their net profit is 46% with no doctor pay, so you minus 22%. This is what's interesting. Somehow they're beating us on their net. If this was associate ran practice,
Yeah.
they'd be at 24%, and we're like 15% last year. So
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit. Is there two owners in these 4 op or 3 doc practices? Is there one owner? And we kind of talked about that a little bit. Is like in our experience, most of the time, if you have an owner or two in an office, that office does better than if his associate ran. And I honestly don't know exactly why that is, but it seems like that's the case.
well, it's just the culture. The culture gets
Yeah.
instilled a little better. Sometimes the associate doctors. I think when I was one, we want to feel like we're just a team member versus being like a leader. So we want to blend in, not take sides. We're more friendly with the team and present for the owner. We want to present the team.
Don't want to drive the team hard. You want to drive the team comfortably.
Yeah. You just want to be friends and have people like you. All right. So then we look at the 4-doctor office. See, the number is 4+. So the first time I looked at it, I was a little disappointed because our Chandler office has 4 doctor day or full-time doctors.
Yeah.
And we are shooting for 5.2 million this year. Right now we're under goal as tracking, but not by much. But so they did 6.4 million. So it'd be interesting to see like what a true 4-doctor office look like and if it the associate ran.
Yeah. Is this a 5-op practice on average or 5-doc practice on average or a 4-doc practice on average? Right. Those numbers would be different.
Yeah. But you see the numbers stay pretty consistent. It's interesting that dental supplies is always around 6%. And then the lab fees creep up. So the same thing, 4-6%. I think that was the last one too, 4-6%. There's take home after doctor pay for us, that'd be about 24%. So, but
which is pretty good. I mean, we won't say above 20%, right? And we love when we get to 24%.
Yeah, so Chandler's right there, pretty close, 23 to 24% a year before your amortization, depreciation, interest offs. So I think it's interesting. So if you want the reporting, go to King Waters. They're cool. They'll give it to you for free. They give you a little like top line growth. They give you a little insight on the bottom. Collections increase roughly 5%. Well, what's interesting, most practices slow down in the fourth quarter, which was for sure us. We really slowed down that fourth quarter. Yeah. So much of the growth stems from inflationary fee increases, going out of network, and expanding treatment offerings. What's interesting is the Arizona offices didn't increase any fees, and we didn't leave any networks.
It's actually funny is because in the Spokane, we did increase our fees at the very beginning of last year. Yeah, UCR fees. And then we didn't go out of network, but we did renegotiate some of our contracts with our insurance companies.
Well, that was in 2023.
Was it really 2023?
Yeah, I know.
Dude, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
So we didn't increase our fees at all then last year.
No, I don't think so because I know.
No, it was 23. You're right.
We negotiated in 2022, finished it in 2023.
Yeah, and then we raised our fees a little bit in 23. Actually, you know what I'm thinking is in Hayden, we raised our fees a little bit at the first of this year.
Right.
But we didn't change anything significant, and I think we're going to do it again here in July, just kind of easing it up into a more reasonable rate for the area.
Yeah, why do it slowly? What's the big
I honestly don't remember why we decided to do it, if you want my honest opinion. We were just thinking we didn't want to scare away. There is a handful of cash paying patients, and I think our thought process was we didn't want to just like bump it up right away in a larger percentage. Whereas if we split it over 6 months, we could do it slower.
Did the previous doctor do it frequently?
He never did it.
Oh, so that's what you said.
Yeah, the fees were so outdated.
Yeah. So
we just so it wasn't we went up 5%. We went up a lot in some areas because the rates the UCR fees were so
gotcha.
Like he was like his UCR for an implant was less than $800. Right. Right. So we bumped it up to, I think, $1,000 or 1,100 or something, and
Still low.
still low. Right. So that's why we didn't want to do it all at once. And so we're due here. I think we're going to do it again here in July, another bump to get us up to that 80th percentile for the area. So
There's another staff insight. This is what we're talking about. This year, large multi-doctor practices staff salaries are higher as a percent of collections than general practices with 3 or fewer doctors. Super common.
yeah,
Doctors in larger general practices have been experiencing high turnover and often have to hire additional staff preemptively to anticipate future growth from adding providers. So
yeah,
it's pretty accurate.
Actually, it's interesting that it's comforting to know that their insights are similar to what we're seeing.
Yeah, that's cool. So Chandler, we didn't have any turnover unless we pushed them out. Spokane's getting closer to that.
Yeah, actually, our only real turnover in 2024 were choices we made and or people moving out of the area.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah. So fascinating. Go to Canyon Waters. You can find this information. They'll email it to you. It's always fun to see where you're at. Hopefully it doesn't rob you from you feeling like you're special like it does me sometimes. And we're okay.
If you're not feeling special, reach out to Chase and I. We can help you feel special. We will, right now we're not coaching anyone for profit. So you might get free coaching just because we're nice guys.
Yeah.
So
what spurred this conversation too was we started sharing some of our profit and loss statements with our team members.
yeah,
And originally, I've never done it. Didn't really think of
neither have I. Yeah.
It's just never really passed across our minds. And then I thought we did it with our regional directors just to like, okay, you guys need to understand like numbers, business, fixed versus variable expenses.
Yeah. Basic like P&L acumen, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And they actually enjoyed it. And so we took it to our office leads. And the only reason the main reason I was okay with it, it's we kind of teach them how to budget and like, hey, this is finances, and say we want to, because we're trying to figure out how we can pay our doctors more, to retain our awesome doctors and recruit even better doctors out there. And that's a conversation like, okay, if we give everybody a raise, where is that coming from? Like, where are we going to like offset that cost? And so the same thing you can do when you're budgeting your personal finances is like, okay, I want a bigger home or a nicer car. Like, okay, well, how are you going to keep your savings rate the same and pay for all your bills? Like, you got to cut from something or you got to grow from somewhere. And it's such a great basic lesson to learn. And that's, I think, the powerful thing of teaching your team. I think I shared this experience before. When our office just hit $2 million, we had an assistant. And she said something. I was like, wait, how much money do you think I make? Because you just said something. Like,
yeah,
you make
actually,
millions of dollars.
Yeah, you're like, you make $2 million. You said something about this before. You're like, the assistant was like, wait, you make $2 million?
Yeah. Our gross collection fee is like $2 million, I'd say.
Yeah.
So what she did, she took $50,000 off that and says $1.9 million. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? No, like, it's just not your salary. Look at all the salaries here.
Yeah.
Plus the
Everyone around you makes money.
That was the lab, the rent, like not even close to that. So it's funny to see, like, you think they think you're making a lot of money, and we have one lead that always says like, I don't know how you make any money. I'm like, thank you.
It's funny is like, you said something to me the other day. No, not the other day. It was months ago, maybe even a year ago. And you're like, you had an assistant or a team member come up to you and you're like, hey, we really want to donate to this thing, blah, 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 blah. Would you be willing to donate some money to this? And you said something like, really what she was asking is like, will you donate for this? Because we want you to, right? And here's the thing, I'm not saying, philanthropic things and donating by our choice is not a bad thing at all. If we can do it, we can make it happen, or we want to reinvest in our team, that's great. But it is sometimes surprising to those of us that are running businesses we forget that our team members don't have the same acumen to how a business is ran or where the money comes from, right? To them sometimes, and this isn't to minimize it, sometimes it comes out of thin air in their mind, right? And so one thing we've found super powerful with this go around is teaching our regional leadership, our on-site office managers and leaders, like, hey, these are P&Ls, this is what it looks like. It's like clicking. They're like, oh, now it's starting to make sense, right? And I think it's super powerful.
Yeah, I think the downside is they have a better understanding what we make. And I think sometimes they're like, oh, you guys don't make that much. Like, yeah, thank you. Businesses are hard to run. Like, so it's like interesting, like Spokane it was funny because the conversation I had with the regional directors and you last week about like, hey, Spokane's doing well. Hey, Hayden's doing well. And that was based through April. And it was funny because I shared the numbers through May, and then Spokane tanked last month, Shannon tanked last month. And like all the numbers just tanked. So Spokane, Shannon lost money. Yeah. And everyone's like, what, you guys, like, yeah, it doesn't happen very often. And
sometimes it does.
I thought this was going to be a good conversation. Yeah. Your team overhead is 48% because you have a team that's built to do $380,000. So when you guys do $280,000, your payroll costs will shoot through the roof. Like, so if you are continuing to do 280, that means we got to cut. Like, we got to cut the team back to doing 280, not 380. Yeah. And so they can start clicking. Like, there's like the reasoning behind what we're doing, and those bad months, like, really are bad. So
it's actually you bring that up, and it's exactly what happened to me today. Is our office manager, our office leader at Spokane, we're talking about our treatment coordinator is getting a little overburdened with some of the marketing calls that are necessary for us to do the all on X marketing that we're doing right now. Right. And so her and I both feel that maybe it's taken a little bit of toll on our treatment coordinator's ability to reach out to our patients to get treatment in and get them scheduled and stuff like that, which is maybe why we had a slower month. Right. And so I'm like, okay, so how do we do this? Do we hire a new person? Do we navigate what each person's role within the office is? And she immediately said right after the top, well, after a month like this, we can't hire anybody. And I'm like, yes. So let's figure it out.
We could, we have plenty of people.
Yeah. We have plenty of bodies. If we're slow, that means we have an extra assistant to make calls, or we have an extra, front team to make calls, or we have an extra third of a person, right, in each role to make calls, right? And so I helped. It was actually super powerful because I didn't have to tell her that. She, based on the conversations that we've had about overhead and P&Ls and stuff, took it as like, well, based on our numbers and everything and where we're at right now, we can't make that happen. I was like, okay, how are you going to make it happen then? Yeah. And so she had a good conversation with our front office today about basically not renegotiating, but re-rolling some of the roles within the front office to where now we have people that throughout the day, they are in charge of calling our unscheduled patient list.
Yeah.
Right. So,
yeah, especially after a month like that, I get that one person might be burdened with, and what are the other three doing? Because it was just a month.
It was a slow month, right?
Yeah. So it means slow for everybody. Less claims, less insurance verification, less follow-ups.
Yeah. So it's awesome. So she took the opportunity to like meet with all the front office, and they made an agreement as a front, like, we're going to do this until we reach goal, and then we'll see if hiring on a new person makes sense.
Yeah.
So
don't be afraid to share numbers. I think for the most, as long as your team's mature enough and you can trust them, and it has like some type of improvement for them personally to share the numbers. I think don't be afraid to do it and have meaningful conversations with them. And maybe like for the office leads I shared like 6 line items, because I think most profit loss statements have like 30. So I shared 6 that we can control or have more control. They'll make it purposeful and don't be afraid of it.
That was powerful. It was like I think when we first looked at it with the office, the regional leads, you're like, you went through the whole P&L. And you're like, we can't control this. We can't really control this. Like this. And we can on a business sense. Like when we make a lease that makes sense. But you're like, these things are already set. So we're only going to focus on the things we can control. So I think that was powerful.
Yeah. So you can make it happen. So don't be afraid. Well, Ryan, you survived. You didn't pass out.
I did snort some nasal spray mid talk. So
I'm starting actually. So
I'm back at live and running. So.
Yeah. We didn't see any boogers come out of those nose.
Yeah, they're just hanging out in my mustache.
It is gross, but it is. Anyway, well, cool. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. I'm glad Ryan's back. No more vacations because he gets sick every time he leaves.
Yeah.
The office stinks. We blame everything on him.
Yeah, everything's my fault. If I leave, we're not productive. If I leave, we get sick. If I leave.
So don't leave. That's the solution.
Yeah, that's the solution. Yeah, never. If you're looking for what's best in your business, never leave. That's what I've.
Almost the opposite.
Honestly, I will tell you from personal experience, if I were to take a week off every couple months, we produce better.
100%.
Yeah,
That's like, it took me probably 5 years to find that out.
Yeah, it's amazing how me taking that week off, I'm already coming back and I'm like, let's freaking run this.
Right.
So
awesome. Okay, guys, so if you go like and subscribe and comment on YouTube. Someone commented that you were not paying attention to me on one of our shorts, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's probably true.
Welcome to my world.
Where my eyes closed like this and where I was like looking down.
I don't even know how to share a clip. So go leave a funny comment like that. That's fine.
I've been in a meeting with you where I'm almost falling asleep before. So
every meeting. All right. Hey, guys. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Like Jay said, comment, share, whatever you got to do. And if you don't like us, stop listening. If you like us, tell your friends.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to The Dentist Show. We hope that this episode helped you make smiles about more than teeth. To get more resources to grow as a dentist and to learn more about Chase and Ryan, go to thedentistshow.com or just follow the link in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, share with another dentist in your life and help us grow the movement. And be sure to rate and review wherever you're listening.